Okay, today we're going to learn how to do table joins to join attribute tables of different shapefiles. I'm going to get some data from North Carolina, my home state, and it's particularly relevant right now. We're going to look at CAFOs, concentrated or confined animal feeding operations, most particularly hog or swine operations in the lower coastal plain, particularly important now given that a Category 4 hurricane is bearing down on the coast of North and South Carolina. Last time that happened, Hurricane Floyd, back to around the turn of the century, it made a pretty bad mess, actually. Now, I've got a link to this home page here. There's a lot of possibilities for geospatial data in North Carolina. This you have to search around for, but I'm going to, and also the geospatial portal is a bit tedious to use, just like the Kentucky version of the same thing. I typed in concentrated animal feeding operations, and that is the file we want. We also need county polygons. I'll let you find those. There's several versions of that. Anyway, let's go. I've got these downloaded and saved here. So what I'm going to do is I've got a folder for CAFOs in North Carolina in particular. I'm going to go ahead and drag in my county shape file. Let's make it hollow. We'll do other things with that. Let's check our what's the coordinate system. It's North Carolina State Plain. That's fine. Let me see. Let me turn off that hand. That can be tedious. The file we were looking for is called Animal Ops, and if you'll notice, there's a text file. That's where you'll find the metadata that'll describe things. Let's go ahead and put that in. And so there are quite a few. Let's look at the attribute table real quickly. So we've got county. That tells you where they are. There are 2,679 records, and latitude, longitude, status, and so on. Excuse me. And this thing called reg activity is the type of operation, and there are a lot of swine operations of various sorts. What we want to do is select out the swine operations. So I'm going to select by location, by attributes, and this reg activity. I could say reg activity equals swine this and that, or reg activity equals swine this or that. That's kind of tedious. There's a little trick here, and I'm going to get unique values. I'm just going to pick anything that has swine in it, and I'm going to put the percent sign. That's a wild card. That matches swine and anything else. So let's say OK. All right. The vast majority of animal operations are in fact swine operations. Let's go to data, export data. Let's see. Let's get all swine. I've done it before, obviously, but here we are. That's in the right place, and it's the name I want. Always check that. I do want to add it as a layer. I'll clear the selection, and I'll turn off Animal Ops. So now we've got just swine. Let's re-symbolize that. Small cross. Let's make it red so it shows up. And 18 points too big. Let's try 8. That's not too bad. All right. So what we want to do now is do some table joins. I'm going to first do one that doesn't work. You can have a one-to-one join, which there's one record in your destination table that matches one record in your source table. That's pretty straightforward. There's one called many-to-one, where that would be like counties to states. Every county or to your state, every county only exists in one state for a given state. Anyway, it's actually fairly confusing. The logic seems crazy to me. You just have to get used to it. I do these joins backwards half the time. Anyway, let's do a join. Let's join so counties is my destination. I'm going to match by county name and swine all county. Whoops, oh there it is. County is what we want. And so let's look at our output. So we have 100, we have only 100 records, whereas we have 2,300 and some operations. So let me sort by county name, and let me come down here. Why can't I get that? There we go. Let's pick Duplin County. That's one of the concentrated areas of these hog operations. Yet there's a single record. This is called a one-to-many join, and it doesn't work. All we've got is one record out of, I think there are about 500 operations there in Duplin County. So that really isn't useful. What we want is a many-to-one, and so let's remove that join. That's not useful. What we want to do, in fact, instead of a one-to-many, is a many-to-one. So we're going to join based on county. We're going to join to the county boundaries, and we're going to we're going to match on county name. Let me turn off Duplin County here, and let's see what we got. So let's open the attribute table. We have 2,343. So we've got the county data, and we've got the operation data all joined together by county, but this still isn't very useful. What we really want to do is summarize this table. So we summarize it. So let's summarize, and I didn't, whoops, where is it? There it is. I didn't describe this before. The variable count, which you'll find in your text file describing the shape file, the field names, count is the approximate total number of animals in that operation. So let's sum those. So we'll get the total number of operations in the county, or the total number of hogs in the county. Actually, it's expecting me to do a geodatabase table. I want a dbase table instead, and I'm gonna call it NC Swine Summary 3, and that's in the right location, and I'm going to say OK. Alright, yes, we do want the table to be added to the map. So let's look at that. Open that. And so we have 62 records here. We've got how many counties, how many times a given county appears, and how many hogs are in that county. There's only 62 because out of the 100 counties, 38 don't have any swine operations. But if we now do a table join and we're gonna do county name, and this swine summary table will match by county, and we'll say OK. Now let's look at that. Now we have all 100 counties, but we've got 38 nulls for the count and for the sum of the number of animals, because there's no data. There's only 62 records in the one. We're keeping all the records. Now this kind of gets in the way of doing any sort of analysis and symbolization, but what we can do is go down to data and export data, and we're gonna write out one called swine all by county, and I'm going to add it as a layer. Alright, let's turn that off. Let's make that hollow for the moment. Now let's symbolize this. We've now summarized and joined, so I got symbology, I want quantities. Let's do the sum, or let's do how many operations in a given county. 5 classes, that looks like a good rank, and say OK, and you can see you get the same sort of look, but it's a little bit, to me it's a little bit easier to interpret. It's sort of summarized by county, and so you can see where the concentration of these operations is in the lower coastal plain with flat topography, low elevation, high water table, just a perfect storm for a storm to make a huge mess. But that's there are some other things we can do. I'll do that in a future video, but for now that will be enough.